Hi, I'm Valia Glitzis.
And I'm Terry Getz, and we are coming to you from Speak Your Truth, Change Your Life Story. And this is the third in our three-part video series on how the story that you tell about your life affects your mind, body, and spirit. And today we're going to talk about how it affects your spirit.
We were thinking earlier today, Terry and I were hosting an event last night called Speak Your Truth. We have a salon series with women, and we had a lot of courageous conversations come out about spirit. I don't know that we use that word, but I think when we were recapping and saying, what was that really about? It boiled down to our connection with something bigger than ourselves as an important facet of writing that story. And what we were hearing last night, theme after theme and woman after woman, was about somehow self-worth, right? Of saying yes to everything even though we want to say no, of over-accommodating, of kind of over-analyzing, feeling, am I good enough to be there, to belong, and how that disconnection from others, from ourselves, just kind of shut down a part of their story.
Right. And I think also that thinking about whatever spirituality means to you, obviously it's very personal, but I believe that that we're all divine on whatever level. So there's this part that sort of surprises me that when we tell the story that we're not good enough to ourselves, and we say yes when we don't want to say yes, or we don't have good boundaries, we end up feeling really deflated. And we don't really connect to that spiritual divine part of ourselves and love ourselves the way we would love another person. So it's really like you're saying no to the divine. You know, you're really saying you're not worthy. And so that's sort of part of what came up last night as well, is, those boundaries are so crucial to this, creating them comes from the story that you tell yourself. And I mean, how many women last night said that they don't have great boundaries? It came up a couple of times, actually, in several evenings.
Yes, and it was funny because I think they used boundaries in a couple of different ways. One was as a protective mechanism, and one was as a deflection mechanism. And when we talk about spirituality, it's, if we all agree, which whatever spirituality means to you, that there's some thread of connection between all human beings, to chop that off from another person is also not allowing that to come into you. And there's this concept that Terry and I speak about often, law of circulation, which is basically almost this figure eight, if you imagine it, of giving and receiving. And what we're programmed to do as women often is give, and feel a guilt or feel a shame in receiving. But the problem is that you are clogging someone else's opportunity to give to you. So we're basically stifling something that's very basic and needs that figure eight, right? Needs that flow in order to work.
Right, and you're not allowing people, I mean, really, most people like to give. It makes them feel good to give. That's a beautiful spiritual thing. But when we say no, I don't want to be indebted, that was one of the things that came up last night. That's a story you're telling yourself, that if someone gives to you, that's a state, then you're in a state of indebtedness. So I think it's really, really important that you allow people to help you, to ask. The word came up last night, and it came up actually from an old series that I did a year ago. Someone brought up that the word that stuck with them was ask. Ask for help and let people dive into their good sides and their beautiful nature and their spiritual nature and allow them to give to you.
And I think really unraveling it, if that word ask scares you, which I think it scares most of us, if it scares you, think back to the other video series about mind, right? What story is it about asking that's frightening? That might come from your childhood. That might come from a place that you've just inherited. Why is that so guilty? Why is that connected to shame or guilt? Or feeling bad? Oh, I don't want to take that from you. Right? That feeling of indebted.
Right. And also, the other part of not connecting with spirit that happens with us, with our stories, is that when we tell ourselves, we're so busy, we don't have time to sit down and spend 5 or 10 minutes in meditation or in quiet contemplation, or we don't have time to go outside. I mean, what I perceive what I think as being very spiritual is to go outside and look at the stars, or to stick my hands in the dirt. Those are spiritual to me experiences. And when we don't give ourselves the time to have them, our brains never stop. Our bodies start to suffer, and we really need that time to sit. I could go on and on about the benefits of meditation and visualization and those things in the quiet time. But part of it, there have been new studies that show that even though not stopping those gamma waves in your brain of the constantly doing, which comes from the story that we tell that we have to keep doing, really stops your thinking process. It stops your creative process. And when you're quiet and you let the alpha waves in, you actually open up this enormous realm of possibilities and this enormous amount of creativity. So being spiritual is also being creative. I mean, I know for me, when I write, that is the most ideal situation for me, is when I just get very quiet and I just allow kind of a spiritual download, and it floods in when I get out of my own way.
Yes. Yes, and I think I love what you said about the simplicity of connecting with spirit. So many clients come to us and it feels hard. It feels distant. It feels like, well, I can't be there because I haven't earned that yet. And I think what's so simple and beautiful and really divine about spirit is that it's already within you. It's here. You don't need to go out searching hard for it.
Right.
Look at the stars, like you said. Start writing. Start connecting in nature. Look at the face of someone you love. I think that word love resonates with us a lot when we speak about spirit. There's a simplicity and just something that's really beautiful that comes with gratitude, with appreciating. And it can be that simple. A moment in a day when you just stop, take a deep breath in, and sit with how much love you have in your life.
Yeah.
Or so much simpler than we make
Right.
it.
And do you know, this is a crazy thing. When I kind of discovered that you could do this, you can actually build love. You can build your capacity for love. And you can do it in a very, very simple way. It is literally to sit and breathe in and out of your heart space and just start, you have to use your brain to get there, but breathe in and out love and start to feel it, emanating and becoming part of you. So that's our tool for today. One of our tools is to really connect with love and start to build that love muscle, if you will,
Yes.
for your capacity to feel that, because we are all connected. And when you see every interaction, I think Marianne Williamson said this, you see every interaction as holy, it changes your perspective, it changes the story you tell. When you see that everybody's doing the best job they possibly can, you stop taking things so personally, and then you stop making assumptions, and you stop making up these stories about what someone's thinking. And you just go back to that, that love place.
Yes.
And it's not always easy. I mean, I get it. When you want to stick needles in your eyes because someone's driving you a little crazy, is it easy to go, I just love them? Not so much. But you can take a step back before the hormones start flooding your brain and taking over. Leave the room. Breathe. Then start to breathe in love, even if it's through gritted teeth in the beginning. It really is a very powerful, powerful tool to connect with spirit and to reconnect with your connection to spirit.
And what an important component that is of your story. I think the mind, the body are more easy sort of aspects to think about when it comes to your story. Spirit it's an indescribably important and critical piece of the story, and we can't keep ignoring it because it is that thing of love, it is that connection, it is how we relate to the people in our lives. And at the end of the day, that's why we have those busy to-do lists, so we can make more time to be with the people we love.
Right.
It's kind of ironic when you think about it.
I know.
But we have a lot more kind of tools off of. I'm going to cut us off because we've got a lot more tools up our sleeves and things that we want to share with you in terms of how to concretely connect with spirit. And it's something that we want to invite you to explore with us and to experience with us at the Lodge of Woodloch next month at our retreat, Change Your Life Story. And that's something that we welcome you to check out our website.
Yep, and one of the things we're going to incorporate is some spiritual rituals and things like that. Very, very kind of nice tools to take home with you. So again, we don't want to give away too much, but go to www.changeyourlifestorynow.com and fill in the information box. If you'd like more information, we'll give you a call. And we hope that you have enjoyed this video series. And if nothing else, if you don't end up coming to the event, we hope that you took away some really good, tangible ways to change your life story and to change the way you look at your life story. And so incorporate the mind, body, spirit pieces into it. Don't just make it a mental exercise, okay? All right, so we'll see you soon. Thanks a lot for being here.